We got another episode of Meet the Makers. I'm your host, Jonesy. This is for Block News, and I'm really pleased because we got Mr. Herb Gibson of GAPro joining me right now, and I really appreciate you taking some time, Herb, to talk to me a little bit about GAPro. Can you sort of introduce the company a little bit to our audience?
Absolutely. Well, GAPro really is a data sharing platform where enable data to be shared between stakeholders or counterparties, if you will, via blockchain or APIs and other technology to be able to verify insurance. Now, everybody who goes through this process of getting insurance verified is a tedious and laborious process. In fact, it is based on 20th century technology called paper. So
I hate paper. Oh, gross.
you and me both. And so what we wanted to do was digitize the data and democratize the data, allow that data to be shared freely when it comes to compliance or anything to that effect. When you let's just say you get a loan on a vehicle, and the first thing they ask you for is proof of insurance or verifying your insurance. And so everybody relies on this paper. And so there's no way to know if that insurance is really in place. And so what we've done is digitize that data so that the data flows smoothly and be able to reach that compliance instantaneously.
Now, you seem to be operating in the insurance world at the moment, insurance verification, which is so valuable, of course. You want to avoid fraud, among other things.
Yes.
What other uh, instances can you foresee this technology being used as well, in addition to insurance?
Yeah, so really what we built is an agnostic technology or platform to that degree. Another big player in this whole equation is the banking or financial institutions. They're a big player. Another industry that really could take advantage of our type of technology is logistics and shipping. Right now, they rely on paper when it comes to shipping goods from port to port, or even transporting goods, with trucks and things like that. They rely on sheets of paper to verify insurance and other requirements. And so that's another industry. Another industry that we are looking at currently is the medical industry, which
Mm.
is huge. Verifying insurance in the medical area, but just more so providing a platform where that data can be shared, and that data can basically perform the functions that those stakeholders are looking for.
Yeah, I also agree with this whole moving away from the paper thing because I watched the video on your website where, someone rents a car, they bring in a
Yep.
piece of paper, and then they smash the car. Turns out they didn't have insurance after
Yep.
all because there was no secured database that was verifiable that everybody could use, which seems to be what
Yep.
you're providing, and that's pretty cool. Can this technology also be used in the dating world? Because I want to make sure when I'm going on a date, I want to make sure she's got good credit. She's a good. Where can it go?
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it can be used in any industry. To be honest with you, because what we did was build something that had fundamentals to it, and the fundamentals are, as long as you can get to the data and share the data, the stakeholders can have an interest or view of that data according to their interest. Blockchain is the technology that enables us to do that, because we can go get the data, and then that data can come together into one form, and then we can relay that data out to those counterparties or stakeholders, to allow that data to be verified in that instance.
I love it, Herb. Let's geek out a little bit about it. Can you tell us kind of
Sure.
exactly how this works?
Sure. So basically, we provide a platform, and right now in the insurance industry, insurance is ripe for blockchain in that instance, because um, insurance protects assets, right? And protecting assets, those are pretty much a finite number or a finite asset, to the degree where you can allow that data to be shared. And blockchain just happens to be a technology that we utilize to be able to do that. So, for example, we're working with a insurance blockchain consortium to bring forth our use case with banking and insurance. And so we call this the Infinity Block Project. So N for insurance, FIN for financial services, IT, block project. And so with that being said, we're looking at utilizing technology like R3's Corda blockchain, as well as utilizing or developing our API so we create this seamless process from our platform to the banking world to provide a service to them. So it becomes a service to the banks where they have access to the data for a subscription fee, of course, to be able to verify their assets or the protection of their assets, especially when it comes to the portfolio aspect. So banks oftentimes they package their assets in portfolios and sell them to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so that process sometimes takes a long time because the laggard is insurance and verifying that. And so if we can help expedite that with our process, that makes things a lot more fluid and seamless, if you will. And so we also incorporate all the security involved in it as well.
Yeah, you can see per industry where this could seep in and make things move along a little safer and quicker. What are some other clients that you're working with?
So some of the other clients we're working with, we're working in the medical malpractice insurance industry too. So for example, doctors, there's 1 million doctors in this country alone, in the United States, and they all have to go through a credentialing process to be able to have privileges at hospitals, surgery centers, as well as be able to accept health plans in their doctor's offices. And right now, that's a very expensive process for every doctor. And they get credentialed an average of about 17 times a year. And so with that being
Wow.
said, the insurance part is the only part of the equation in the credentialing that is still manual. So you have board certification has a clearinghouse, education has a clearinghouse, but when it comes to verifying the medical malpractice insurance, there's no place to do that other than requesting a certificate of insurance from the insurance carrier. So in that model, the information has to come directly from the primary source, which would be the medical malpractice insurance carrier. So we are beginning to work with those medical malpractice insurance carriers to reduce their costs and also increase their revenue as a revenue share back to them for being able to provide this data seamlessly and reduce the cost ultimately for the doctor as well as the hospital groups as well.
You know,
That's a huge opportunity.
that's amazing. You know, you've just opened my eyes to, you're opening my eyes to like this industry that's for some reason still using archaic technology. Is it because the Amish are behind this insurance field? Is that why?
You know,
I know.
I went to school. I went to college in Indiana. I went to Notre Dame. And
Oh, right.
Amish people in Indiana, so I'm familiar with the Amish. But you know, the biggest challenge, especially in insurance and financial services, has been well, let's just talk insurance only. Insurance, the way insurance works is you pay a premium, and that premium gets put into 3 buckets. 1, the administrative bucket; 2, the claims bucket; and 3, the investment bucket. And so, if you noticed during the economic downturn, there was only really a couple of insurance companies that really suffered. AIG was one because of the credit default swaps, right? That was their investments. They were aggressively investing in the marketplace. But the rest of the industry remained solid and remained soft in terms of how they relay premium. And so, with that being said, insurance has been making money continuously through the ups and the downs of the economy. And
Uh-huh.
so, the only thing that motivates the insurance companies to really get off the snide of not doing anything is that you have a number of companies like ours, which they call insurtech companies, now developing new solutions and new distribution models and new servicing models that enable the incumbent insurance carriers to either plug in or partner, or basically buy us out and say put you on the shelf. So
Yeah.
so it's a marketplace that is ripe for change. However, there is still a lot of liquidity and money in the marketplace. So um, it it's going a little slower than anticipated. However, it is beginning to pick up as we speak, because there are some really cool solutions coming about.
Yeah, and GAPro is offering one of those solutions. What is it personally for you, Herb, that made you want to create this and provide this service, like personal?
Sure, sure. So what's personal for me is I wanted to be able to have a positive impact on the industry. Number one. Secondly, I've been in this industry over 20 years, and I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, but more importantly, um, I noticed a big problem because I owned an insurance agency for 8 years. I started it from scratch. I bootstrapped it, and I had to do everything from selling the insurance to doing claims management to doing servicing. And when I noticed the service part was so far behind the times, I said, you know what, there had to be a better way. And so I began my crusade to make the change. And so I went to three people that I call the three wise men who have more letters behind their name than anybody I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
But they're all in their 70s and 80s, and they've been in the business 50 years. And they said, Herb, listen, now that you show me your solution, you have to do it. And they also said, you're going to present this over 1,000 times in this industry before anyone gets it. So I took that to heart. And they meant it figuratively, but I took it literally. And so I began presenting to whoever would listen. I didn't care if you were a venture capitalist. I didn't care if you were an insurance industry expert, pundit, executive, you name it. I just presented what I thought would be a great solution. And so I used to keep counting. I was well over 1,200 times at that last time I counted. And so that's what really, you know, is personal to me in terms of what I'd like to see in the industry, because the industry has a huge opportunity to participate in the future of our society. And so you're seeing a lot of things pop up like smart cities and IoT. Insurance is a baseline for all of that because it's about transferring the risk. So we're evolving from looking at risk from a historical perspective with mortality charts and actuarial tables into a more preventive nature with the advent of autonomous vehicles and
Right.
IoT devices like what I'm wearing right here, which is monitoring my steps and heartbeat and all that stuff. And we'll be able to take that data and allow that data to be utilized to create new insurance products or to better underwrite the existing products because we have more granular data. And that's what's really important to me as well. That's why GAPro is a data sharing platform.
That's amazing, and this has to happen.
It has. There's no. You can't stop it. So the existing insurance carriers are either dinosaurs or they're adopters.
Right, right. That's fantastic. If you were to pick out a theme song for GAPro, what would it be?
Um, Stevie Wonder's song.
I love
Um,
Stevie.
yeah, me too. Higher ground.
Higher ground. People keep
Yeah.
on learning. Ding,
Yep.
ding, ding. I love that song. I'm so darn glad they let me try it again. When the last
Yep.
time I never gonna keep on trying till I reach that higher ground. Pa! Oh man, that's great. I love it.
That's my theme song.
That's a great theme song, man.
Whenever I do a presentation, I want to come out to that from now on.
Yeah, you got to do that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. Is there anything else you want to add, Herb? Anything else that you think that the audience, should know? Anything pertinent that you could add?
Well, I mean, we're building a strong community of supporters, and
Right.
people are realizing the value of what we're bringing to the table. Because it's not just verification; it's also the risk profile aspect of what we will be able to do with data. So we created another service called Risk Profiles as a service that we can utilize it with blockchain technology as well. So basically, the context behind that is that everyone has a risk profile. Yourself, I do, even the businesses that we own all have risk profiles. And there's no other industry in the world that utilizes data more than insurance. You can't even buy insurance without data.
Yeah.
So so what insurance is trying to accomplish is you being able to purchase insurance with the limited amount of data that you provide. because there's all these third-party sources that they get data from about us. And so we figure if we can build risk profiles that basically enable you and I to be able to share our data with permission, because we don't want to go through the things that Facebook is going through and other companies that just share data. But if we can do that in a controlled environment and allow people to engage their financial services more effectively with that, because you have accurate, seamless data, I think that is the future, to be honest with you. Being data driven, especially when it comes to risk profiles.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And GAPro is a step in the right direction, I think, for this. And the website again it's GAPro.com, is it?
IO.
GAPro.io. GAPro.io. Herb Gibson, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. The audience is really going to enjoy this. There's a lot of information here, and I think we were very entertaining as well, which is great. So I want to thank you so much for being a guest on Meet the Makers. You can find more videos from makers like Herb on our website, block.news. Thank you, Herb.
Awesome.
Have a great weekend.
Appreciate you too. Thank you.